Hey KKS viewers, this is AJ here, and I have the pleasure of doing the first figure review for the channel. Today, I'll be reviewing the Wild Tiger 12PM figure by Bandai. This figure was released in December of 2012 and is still available across many Japanese web stores. If after this review, you feel like this figure is for you, check out the links posted in the description box. Okay, so the first thing today I'll be talking about is the packaging of the figure. The figure comes packaged in a large box with no windows, so you cannot see the figure inside the packaging without actually opening up the box. Well, not really open, since this is actually a slip box. The whole box itself is quite heavy since there are a lot of pieces inside. The overall box is also very sturdy and will definitely protect the figure inside, so you don't have to worry about that at all. The box design is quite simple, with images and text here and there, which have a shine to them to add that bit of flair that's lacking from the rest of the box. The front has an image of Wild Tiger, and the sides have his name written in green. On the back, there's the logo of the figure series line, which is 12PM, PM standing for perfect model. After the outer cover of the box has been slipped off, you can see a black cover tab that houses the blisters of the figure inside. It has various logos associated with the figure manufacturing and the character himself, such as the Wild Tiger logo and the 12PM logo. The first blister contains the main body, the alternate head and shoulder armor, the two guns, and two alternate hands. The second blister contains the base and the rest of the alternate hands. The blisters do a good job of protecting the figure and parts, so no complaint there for me. The only minor gripe I have is that if you switch out the default clenched fist on Tiger, there is no designated spot to place the fist, so they shift around a lot on the box, risking paint transfer. The next thing I'm going to cover is the sculpting of the figure. The figure is about 1/6 scale and stands about 12 inches tall. The overall figure is very nicely sculpted with all the fine intricate detailing intact. Materials wise, this figure is made of PVC, ABS, and die-cast metal. PVC is a basic plastic used for sculpting, ABS is a more lightweight plastic used to sculpt the more intricate details of the figure, and the die-cast metal is used for the joints for reinforcement. The figure edges are very crisp and distinct, and you'll find that the detailing job is amazing throughout the whole body. The green transparent plastic used for the parts that light up look great as well. As with all the figures though, there are some minor production flaws such as chip parts and visible seam lines, but that's only me nitpicking. While this is indeed a large figure, the figure itself is actually quite light as it's pretty much hollow. As with all action figures, I'm sure you want to know how poseable it is, right? I'm happy to say that this figure is fairly articulate, so no problems there. As explained earlier, the joints seem to be reinforced with a die-cast metal, making for easy and long-lasting posing. The head can be twisted to the right, left, and downward fairly well, but it cannot be twisted outward due to the armor in the back neck area. The arms are extremely flexible and can be rotated almost completely forward and back, but side motion is limited a bit by the shoulder armor. Elbow movements are fluid as well, but the hands cannot be rotated much at the wrist due to the gauntlet. Luckily, he does have a lot of alternate hands to exchange with if you don't like the current hands. The legs are also very flexible, as you can see he can do the splits quite easily, which is really strange. He can also move his legs forward quite a bit, but I found it difficult to move them backward due to an interfering piece. His knees are easy to move as well. Even the actual foot can be moved slightly, in particular the front of the foot. The part with the most limited movement would have to be the torso area. It can only be twisted slightly in any given direction, so he cannot bend too much of the body. You can see some of the fun poses I played with later on in the video, but I'm sure you can come up with so many of your own poses since he is so flexible. The paint job on this figure is pretty top notch. The black paint used is matte, the silver paint isn't reflective and it looks quite natural, and the white paint has a pearly white finish. I'm a person who is very much into coloring in the lines, so I can happily say that the paint on even the more intricate and small parts are painted on very well. I can't say I could see any particular paint spills anywhere on the figure, so that's a huge plus for me. The paint seems to just be one layer and no shading is present, but I think that's hardly necessary on this sort of figure. The decals on the shoulder armor and the torso are very crisp and clear. As with all mass-produced figures, unfortunately, there are indeed some minor paint flaws present on my figure. In particular, mine came with a paint scuff on the back armor that I could not remove. On a side note though, I would also be careful when posing the figure since paint transfer can always happen when pieces rub against each other, but that's inclusive to all action figures, not just this one. I am very picky when it comes to the overall paint finish, so I can confidently say that the overall paint job is very nice and in no way sloppy. I don't have much to say about the base other than it does its basic job, I guess. It's a large oval with a plaque on the front with Wild Tiger written on it. Wild Tiger is held onto the base by a metal rod and white clip. I find that the white clip and rod aren't completely stable when trying to pose Tiger, but it holds well in the end. My main problem with the base is that the metal rod doesn't stick firmly into the hole on the base, so the metal rod can quite easily detach from the base or lean forward if too much weight is put onto it. For example, in the running pose, there's too much stress of weight put onto the top part of the metal rod, so the metal rod sinks forward a bit on the base. Overall, a very simple base. I don't mind the bulkiness or plainness of the base as much as I mind the lack of firmness in which the metal rod sticks into the base itself. Let me just say, the lighting on the figure is my favorite part and it's just pure awesome. It's greatly executed and looks amazing, so I give huge props to Bandai for doing this. The figure is powered by LR41 batteries, which are already included within the figure itself, so you don't need to buy your own. There are a total of 8 switches on the body that control the lighting. 1 on the back of the head, 1 on the back of the torso, 1 on the side of each arm, 2 behind the hamstrings, and 2 behind the calves. Basically, all the parts that have any part of green on the body light up, as well as the eyes. Even the green under the foot lights up. If you've watched the anime and have seen his suit glow, it's faithfully replicated here on the figure. Overall, it's a fantastic Wild Tiger figure, perhaps even the best so far in terms of sheer size, posability, and detail. This retails for a whopping 25,000 yen, which is around 250 US dollars, which is quite pricey. As much as I love Wild Tiger and this figure, he is just not worth the price if you tack on shipping prices. As far as I know, I still see this figure on sale on certain websites, so if you can luckily grab him for anywhere under 13,000 yen excluding shipping, I would definitely grab it. Finally, as a side note, this figure exceeds the size limitations for Sao small packet, so definitely anticipate shipping to cost around 4,500 yen for express shipping to the USA. If you can nab this figure for around 30,000 yen or less, and pay around 4,500 yen for shipping, 17,500 yen for this figure is still a good buy. Well, that wraps up my first figure review. If you want to see more reviews, get to hitting that like button. If you have any comments or questions, please leave something in the comments below. I mean, you can even say I sound robotic or boring, but we love receiving any kind of feedback. See you again next time, KKS viewers.